Final score: Halifax Town 1, Wrexham 2. Please forgive my croaky voice. I failed the fitness test for the journey down to Halifax, but I've seen the game now and it was worth watching. So Wrexham, coming off the disappointment of last Saturday at Wealdstone, had a couple of changes and a change of shape. Still three at the back, but rather than play a striker alongside Paul Mullin and Jordan Ponticelli made way, Dan Jarvis stepped up and played off the striker. And at the back, I assume because Harry Lennon still needs to be looked after carefully, Sean Brisley came in at the back as well. Tough game away to Halifax, who are fifth in the league and had won every home game this season apart from the first day of the season. The opening stages, to be honest, were really inconsequential. Maybe to argue that of most of the first half, it was balanced, it was even. Neither side could really get into good positions. The final balls weren't quite there, and frankly, it was perfectly satisfactory from a Wrexham point of view. I felt we looked slightly more dangerous than them, and as you're playing away from home against a side in fabulous away form, that seems pretty decent. We had a nervous moment early on when Sean Brisley conceded a free kick rather sloppily in the edge of the box, but we survived it, and then the game just settled down into a pattern of a bit of a midfield scrap. Wrexham's idea of playing Jarvis off Mullin wasn't really gelling. Mullin was looking isolated up front, and Jarvis was finding it hard to get support to bring himself or Mullin into play. The first sort of real effort on goal was nearly half an hour in, and it wasn't that dramatic. It was also inadvertent. Vale breaking down the right hand side, trying to pull a pass into the box for Waters, but ricocheted off Tozer's knee. Luckily for Wrexham, it flew straight at Langton, who took an easy save. A minute later, Wrexham coming forwards. A nice move, this good spell of pressure and possession, ended with Jordan Davis hitting a shot from the edge of the area, which was blocked, spanned back out, and Luke Young had to go from 25 yards, but he hit it straight down the middle. Easy save for the keeper. Only time really that the keepers had to make a save came just after half-hour mark. A really nice move by Halifax. Their senior, the left-back, driving a terrific long ball to Warburton between the lines. He worked the ball wide to Vale, and he played a clever little pass back inside. Waters was making a run from the edge of the area into the box. That looked like the obvious pass. He played it behind him, though, and on running onto it was the midfielder Spence. He struck the ball well from 18 yards. Langton got down low to his right and was able to parry. Then Warburton had a 25-yarder, two straight, easy save, and within the space of a minute, both teams had an opportunity from distance. Firstly, Jordan Davis, channeling the spirit of his heroics at Halifax last season, smashing a fabulous shot from all of 30 yards, which just whistled past the right post of the goalkeeper scrambling. Within a minute, Waters trying a shot from about 25 yards out, which again had Langton lunging, but it went wide at left post. There was also a moment of frustration for Mullin. Like I said, he was looking very isolated when he held play up really well, worked it wide. Jarvis got the ball on the right. Mullin ran over the top and wanted an early return pass because Halifax's defensive line was quite high. Jarvis didn't return the ball. Mullin cut a very frustrated figure, as he would do until the last few minutes. After the break, the game picked up in tempo considerably, and Halifax made the early running, coming at us quite well. However, Wrexham's defence had looked solid, especially Hayden and Tozer, and so there were no real chances created. And when Wrexham started to get the ball forward, we did start making half chances. We were a bit unfortunate when Jordan and Paul Mullin was fouled on the halfway line. He'd held the ball up really well and drawn the foul, and smartly then ran off into the Halifax half. Davis took a quick free kick. The flag went up and he was caught offside. Shame that Mullin one-on-one with the keeper, and it was a tight call. Not saying it was a wrong call, but it was a tight one. Then a terrific breakaway. So Bryce Susanna burst down the left-hand side, switched well to Paul Johnson, and he fed the ball into Mullin, who had a sight of goal from 20 yards out, drove it across the keeper, but Johnson got down well to hold it low to his right. Then Mullen popping up on the left-hand side and drilling in a vicious cross, which evaded the keeper, and Jarvis just couldn't quite reach in front of an open goal. And a couple of minutes later, Jarvis's race was run. He was replaced. Jake Hyde, the ex-Halifax striker, came on to boos from his old fans, and immediately got himself involved. Sorry. Hosanna overhitting a cross. Hyde did well to keep it alive at the far post. Found Hall Johnson, and when he pulled it back, Hosanna had fouled his cross into the box and struck the ball well first time from around 15 yards, but his shot was well blocked. So a good spell of domination by Wrexham, but it was broken by Halifax scoring halfway through the second half. An avoidable goal. Tozer at the back, making an interception and feeding the ball down the left to Brisley. Brisley, facing his own goal, probably needed a shout, but will be disappointed in himself that he turned straight into trouble and got tackled. Halifax had a man over and they exploited it really well. Vale it was who tackled Brisley. He fed it down the line. Waters worked it across to Worthington, who worked it across to Slew. I think this is how they do it in rugby, isn't it? When you got an extra man and you just keep shifting it until you got the overlapper. That's what they essentially did. They exploited the fact they had one more striker than Wrexham had defenders back. Slew one-on-one, Laneton completely exposed, and he drew the keeper and slotted it underneath him, and Halifax were ahead and could have been further ahead soon afterwards, because Jake Vale surprisingly was immediately withdrawn after that. I thought he looked very dangerous, and on came Elliot Newby, and he was a threat straight from the start. Hosanna slicing the ball up in the air, Newby backing into him and then turning and shooting from 15 yards across Laneton and just scraping the far post. Wrexham started to put pressure on but couldn't really create much. Phil Parkinson made a double substitution in order to try and shake things up. Went to 4 at the back and 3 up front, with Ponticelli to the left of Mullen and Hyde. Ponticelli coming on, as well as Cameron Green, Bryce Hosanna making way, as did... Who was the other sub who came off? Who else came off? Somebody or other. Who knows? Anyway, Wrexham huffed, puffed, put pressure on, and didn't really get there until the 83rd minute when they got the breakthrough. Maybe a little bit of luck involved in it. Quite an amusing setup to it. Mullen in the middle, Cameron Green in loads of space on the left-hand side, demanding the ball, and it didn't arrive. Green cutting an increasingly angry figure as he waved his arms about. Eventually the move broke down and the ball did come back out to him on the left, and he set off in the sort of direct run that you sort of make when you're really narked and you want to show that you should have got the ball in the first place. It was a great run, direct, straight down the line, but he overdid it, I think, because he was trying to make a point and found himself stuck in the corner. Warren tackled him, but fair play to Green. He did really well to stick a foot back in and poke the ball backwards to Ponticelli, who'd intelligently taken up a position, I think, realising what was happening. Ponticelli fed it into Jordan Davis in the corner of the box. He fed it down the left channel, and James Jones drove the ball into the goal mouth, and it went in. His first goal for Wrexham. I think it took a little deflection just after he hit it. Not sure he was shooting or crossing. It was a tight angle he hit it from, but who cares? He went nuts in front of the superb Wrexham following of 1,200. And after that, well, Halifax could easily have won it before Wrexham did. 99th minute, a newbie, the substitute, cutting in from the right and drilling a terrific shot which hit the foot of the post. It spanned straight back out, and Waters dinked across at the far post. Warren attacked it powerfully, headed it well, but luckily for Wrexham, straight at Laneton. And Wrexham would take advantage of that good fortune. Second added minute, Jordan Davis with a free kick, dinked over the top, and Ponticelli did ever so well on the left-hand side to just hook in a nice little pass. Mullen then one-on-one with the keeper, and he drilled it into the bottom left corner. A super finish by Mullen. He went crazy, he got booked for his celebrations, and Wrexham dug in, held on, and got a superb away win. In performances, Laneton made one save. That was all he had to do, really. Perfectly solid. Across the back, I thought Hayden was terrific and probably our best player. He was physical and aggressive and did really well in individual fights. Tozer was also rock solid alongside him, did really well. Brisley was a little bit up and down, if I'm honest. Vale was getting in behind Hosanna and getting at him a bit. Hosanna had some very good moments, but it was him who was taken off when Green came on. Sorry, and when my brain went, my head is mostly full of snot. Hosanna Did all right. Had some sloppy moments, had some excellent moments, and broke forwards well, especially in the first half. In the second half, wasn't so effective, and then started to lose the ball a little bit, and you can see why Green came on. At the right hand side, Hull Johnson again looked good. Again, 2 games in 4 days, he's got through 90 minutes, which is brilliant. He had no problems defensively. In fact, Jordan Slew, well, apart from scoring a goal, did nothing. And he looked decent going forwards as well, without actually hitting many targets with his crosses. In midfield, I thought Luke Young really did well. He made a hell of a lot of interceptions. He made a lot of good covering runs and in his own half, and a lot of good work when we didn't have the ball. Jordan Davis was interesting, actually. There were occasions when I got a little bit frustrated because he played a couple of sloppy little passes. Phases to play, a lot of us, our play was a bit sloppy. But he also was really important, inventive, playing those quick free kicks, one of which led, of course, to the winner, driving the ball forwards as well, and having a couple of decent shots. So, yeah, Davis certainly in credit in this game. James Jones, pleased to see, because I'm a fan of Jones, as you probably know. And he didn't play well last Saturday. He did well this time. Excellent work rate, deserved his goal. Just lots of energy in that right-sided central position. So, yeah, good performance by him. And then up front, it just wasn't quite gelling between Jarvis and Mullen, in all honesty. Both of them were sort of fairly peripheral for a good stretch of the game. Bringing Hyde on gave Mullen some support, but I think it was when Ponticelli came on as well, and it really made a difference. So I had sympathy for Jarvis. Mullen was still inventive and involved, even though it was hard to bring him into the match, but, he pops up at the end, give him a chance. Scores the goal, doesn't he? The subs did well. Hyde, well, he's still coming back to fitness, but he worked hard. Put his body on the line and drew a couple of important free kicks in added time, just when we had digging in to hang on. Green did very well down the left-hand side, quite apart from his run for the equaliser, but he was constantly trying to get at them. And Ponticelli was terrific. I think he's very unlucky to be dropped, if I'm honest with you. His work rate was great. He was constantly back, helping Green out defensively in the Wrexham half, but then he played that subtle little flick inside for Mullen to score the goal. His positioning allowed Green to find him in the build-up to the first goal. Yeah, Ponticelli deserves a pat on the back. So brilliant win for Wrexham. Right, I'm going to my sick bed. Final score: Halifax Town 1, Wrexham 2. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.